nobody argue that violence is prohibited, and it is prohibited more within the house, within the family, because this will disturb the children. Just imagine the poor children seeing the father hitting the mother. That is really very disturbing for the child. And he is split between both. And I don't think that we should expose our children to these earthquakes and volcanoes and so on. So socially speaking, psychologically speaking, and then Islamically speaking, this is not justified.
There is one verse where beating is referred to. It's in a situation where there is an attitude coming from the woman which is not only not respecting, but doing things that are totally wrong. And then there is 3 steps. The first one is وَعِذُهُنَّ, speak to them and remind them with the Quran. The second is just take a distance from them and let them think about what they are doing. And the third is to beat them. And here some scholars are just doing this, so okay, it's Islamic to do it. And others, like myself, we put this into context and say, okay, look, it came at a very specific moment. It's the 3rd step in helping and directing the teaching towards stop to use domestic violence. So it's a process. As to the people who are speaking about the beating, they are very often say, okay, yeah, yes, it's written, it's then permissible, but with specific condition, and they are referring to some scholars and some interpretations saying you can do it symbolically with a stick, and it's something which is not to hurt the woman, but to make her understand that this was wrong. So it's just to lighten the effect of beating. So it's there. But I really think that these are interpretations helping to understand that it should not be done, but it's much more symbolic. At the end of the day, symbolic or not symbolic, the answer for me is no domestic violence. This is not Islamic, and once again, the best way is that even the Prophet himself, with a stick or with anything else, he never did it, because this is and he is our model. So it was out of discussion, out of consultation, out of dialogue. Sometimes he was sad, as we are all sometimes sad, but we have to manage our sadness and not to hurt the people because we are sad.
When people ask me what is evil in Islam, what do you understand by evil? And I try and look at scripture and I think, what's the word for evil and what's the closest we get to evil in the Quran? I always think of oppression. God constantly talks about the one who oppresses has transgressed, the one who oppresses others, the one who is cruel to others. And, women being the victims of domestic violence is a cross-cultural, cross-class, cross-religion, everything. But I would argue that within Muslim contexts, because there is so little leeway for women to express themselves out of the family context, many women find it very difficult to leave the family home. There is nowhere for them to go. Now, it's not just an Islamic thing, this is a male-female gender issue. But I would say that within the last 10 years, in some European countries, I have seen now hostels and all sorts of centres being established for women as a possible refuge for them. But these are only temporary fixes. At the end of the day, the woman will have to either go back to the family, decide that she wants to leave, and then you have the children to sort out. So the real issue is not, can she leave or does she stay? The real issue is, why is this continuing to happen, where women are still so often the victims of domestic violence, and in contexts where the men know full well that there's really nowhere for them to run to.